Welcome, fans, once again to KB's Unemployed Show, the only show on the internet where you can sit at your job and watch a guy who doesn't have one anymore. What will KB do today? Change guitar strings, perhaps? Grade papers? Worry about his future? Who knows? The only thing we know is it's guaranteed to make you question your intelligence, simply because you're watching it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the unemployed lifestyle of KB.
The pods are now open.
Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Look.
I like to study about the world cities and airports.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
Oh, that boy ain't right.
If Andy yearns for Brenda and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, the three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is it, threesome?
No.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Lesbians. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I don't mind a bit of bush.
37 in a row?
Shut the f*** up, okay? Shut the f*** up!
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
You know I'm gonna have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
Are you ready for it?
Hey, what's going on, folks? Back again for one more week. We are at day 56 of unemployment, and I'm still unemployed. Absolutely no prospects on the horizon. So if anyone has got anything interesting, I'm open to doing stuff. I'm going to be a little particular. I'm not going to lie. But I am open to doing some things. So today on the show, first of all, I want to thank you for all the people that are reaching out through the website, drewandkb.com, contacting me and saying they miss me in my previous iteration. I miss it too. And I miss working with Drew. Hopefully one day we can put the band back together. I don't know if that'll happen, but hopefully it will. But today on the show, I'm going to go over what I usually do, the news and what color is the sky on your planet and my top 5, but also get into a bit of a Grammys review, if you will. There is a lot going on with the Grammy Awards. And while we're at it, though, before we get going, let's check in on the Kenneth Cam, shall we? I think we should. There we go. To me. All right. So I'm going to talk about the Grammys and some of the things we saw last night or didn't see, like Chappell Roan's top, but also my top 5. And I'm going to run down my top 5 favorite or best songs that won the Song of the Year or Record of the Year. One is for the songwriter, one is for the artist. So they're a little bit different. Not always the Record of the Year isn't always entered in the Song of the Year category or a finalist, and vice versa. So I'm going to run down those. I'm going to talk about everything that I saw, some of the observations I made. I'm going to wonder if you made the same ones, to be perfectly honest with you. And got some news headlines. And I think it'll be all right. I'm learning a lot about doing this YouTube show. And what I'm learning is that, number one, I don't necessarily have to go as long as I was. And thank God, because, damn, we did 4-hour shows on the radio. But as we started recording them, I was going into the show and I was breaking out the commercial breaks and taking all of that out. And what we found was there was only about an hour and a half of content. So my goal with this show is to keep it under an hour and then give you little tastes and clips out there. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, please do share it with people. if you have people that were, fans of the previous show, say, hey, KB's still out there. I get that question a lot. What are you doing? Where did you go? Takes people a while to figure out where you are. And this is where I am, at least for the time being. And if you know people, say, hey, spread the word. Give them the link. Hopefully they'll subscribe. I'll get more viewers. And next thing you know, we'll really start to get rolling. I'll get better guests. Although I do want to thank Jimmy Dore because it's great to have 272 followers on your YouTube page and a friend who's got 1.7 million. So hopefully, that'll get some robust activity over here. But nonetheless, we're going to get into, there's Kenneth again. He's just checking out the window. We did get something from the Amazon guy, so he's pretty upset about that. Oh, you know what I got from the Amazon guy? And I got a puzzle. Here, I'm going to show you right here. This is what I did this weekend. Right here, that is a Lego of Elvis. So my son got that for me a couple of years ago, and I finally put it together. And for the longest time, several years ago, I was totally into doing jigsaw puzzles to the point of obsession. I do recall one day, but that's part of the ADHD thing. As long which as I said, I've been, I wouldn't say struggling with, but been had it since I was a kid. But one thing that I used to do is I got into jigsaw puzzles several years ago. And when I lock into something, it becomes an obsession. Now, it's probably not an obsession for very long, hence the ADHD part. But I would lock into them pretty heavy duty. And you couldn't drag me away from them. So I do recall one time there was a neighbor that lived a couple of houses down from us, and we used to go over there every Friday, had a cocktail hour, had a happy hour. And I was in the middle of doing a puzzle, and I said, hey, I gotta go home and make a phone call. But I was just obsessed with doing this crossword puzzle. So what I ended up doing was going home, and I thought I was only going to spend about 5 minutes or 10 minutes with the puzzle. 45 minutes later, I get back to the cocktail party. Now, this is in the summertime, and it's kind of warm out. So we're sitting around. They had a pool, and we're sitting around the pool. And my wife, Miss Sue, looks at me, and she goes, you were working on the crossword puzzle. I said, no, I was on the phone for a while. She goes, no, you weren't. You were working on the jigsaw puzzle. I said, no, I wasn't. She goes, yes, you were. And I go, how would you know? And she goes, look at your arm. And sure enough, like right here on my arm was, I was leaning down and I had one jigsaw piece right here stuck on my arm. And all I could think of was, oh my God, if I lost that on the walk over to the house, I would have been totally hosed. I think going all the way through a jigsaw puzzle and getting down to one piece is missing, I would go absolutely insane. That would be like the worst thing after putting all that work in. But I'm not into the little puzzles. I can't do a 3-dimensional one. Those are you just got to be from another planet to be able to handle those. But I like getting into probably 2,000 pieces and higher. Like to spend some time with them. But I got one that's coming from, I think it just showed up, and it's the Roman Colosseum. Which when we were in Italy, I just completely fell in love with that country. And anyone who may have been there, you would know what I'm talking about. So I did get one of the Roman Colosseum, which I'm going to start working on. And you know how on the World Wide Web, on the internet, people just watch the dumbest things, like perhaps the Kenneth Cam, which is quite exciting, as you can tell. So, hey, Brad, what's up? So, where was I? Oh, going to Italy. So I got this puzzle of the Colosseum, which is incredible. And someone, and I don't know if she's out there. We only got 46 people on right now. But our friend Marlo, who's a regular visitor, if she's there, let me know if she saw the video I did for her yesterday. or last week. I played it last week. And Marlo's a big fan of Italy. And as you can see with the video, if she's going to be out there, I will play it again. And she made a request because I was messing around with the AI stuff. So she made a request that I do a video because I had like strawberry blonde women talking about the show. And she said, well, why don't you do one for us women out here of how about a police officer from Milan, which I did. And put her in the middle of it. So hopefully she saw it. But after I get done with the news, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the Grammys and what we saw last night. I have very specific opinions about the Grammys, and I just don't think. I don't know. I think that Hollywood. Any of the industries that involve entertainment, I think they're completely out of touch. I think they've lost touch with reality. I subscribe to the Ricky Gervais school where he said, none of you, he got up at the Golden Globes. He wasn't asked to come back because he said, listen, none of you have any idea what you're talking about. Just shut up and go do your job. And, said, and he goes, every last one of you out there, complains about Al-Qaeda, but if your agent came to you with a part in a documentary on Netflix, you'd all jump at it. So, he was right in picking out the hypocrisy. But so I will get into the Grammy review. I had put out a short yesterday with my predictions, and we'll see how close I came. And I'm starting my weight loss journey again. About a year, man, that must have been about a year and a half ago. I weighed about 240, and I was a chubba. I'm a chubba now. I still haven't gotten down to dad bod. I think that will be my goal. If I can get to dad bod, I will be doing okay. However, I did get below my driver's weight, my driver's license weight that I lied about several years ago. So that was a big plus, but I'm right back at that now, which is 215. So I was 240. I'm down to I'll get down to 208. So that's nearly 40 pounds. 206, I think, was my lowest, nearly 40 pounds. And I'm back up about 9. So I'm going to hop back on that diet and see if I can't drop another 12 pounds, get below that. And my goal, as I said, is to get to dad bod. Right now, I'm probably drunk uncle bod, but dad bod would be a big step up for me. So that's what I'm going for. But the weight loss program that I was on, and I can't say who it was because that would be giving promotion to a former advertiser, which I cannot do. But the program is not tough, but it just makes all the sense in the world. You're not really starving yourself. You're just doing what you're supposed to do, managing portions, getting rid of processed foods, no processed sugar. I'm not a big fan of not being able to drink while it's going on. But I have changed from the Manhattan to just bourbon. Big rock and some bourbon, because then I'll sip that a little bit more. You put the sweet vermouth into the brown mumbler, and you can just hammer them. So I'm going to, something that's a little more sippable, and we'll just see that. So I can still have my bourbon. But I'm gonna weigh in tomorrow, and then we'll start tracking it. And that's the only way you can really lose weight, is to be held accountable. Because if you don't, then you're gonna find ways to go, I'll just skip it this time, or I'll just skip it that time. And that's what got me, into getting to be about 12 pounds up now, 10, 12 pounds up. So I have to be disciplined. I've got to get that willpower back, and I'm going to be shooting to be able to do that. But what we're going to do right now, let's go to the news. In the news, of course, it's Groundhog Day, and Punxsutawney Phil came out of his groundhog hole and saw his shadow. And he was, that means when he sees the shadow, that means that there's 6 more weeks of winter. And so Punxsutawney Phil, in looking at it a little bit deeper, I did realize that in investigating that Punxsutawney Phil, what he does is he's only right 35% of the time. 35% of the time. Now, in baseball, that would probably get you into the Hall of Fame. But in terms of animals, predicting the continuation of winter, he ranks 17 out of 19. The only people he has surpassed is Woody the Woodchuck and Mojave Max, which is a tortoise. And they are at, he's tied with Woody the Woodchuck. Staten Island Chuck is a groundhog. He's up there at number 1 in New York. He's at 85%. But the interesting thing is when you take a look at the 17 in front of him, and this has got to be tough if you're Punxsutawney Phil. Now, I know that you are the figurehead of the groundhogs that predict winter. And yeah, they made a movie about you. But you got to be better than 35%. Especially since there are 3 ahead of him that are at 39%, 47%, and 50% correct. And each one of those 3, I'll give you the names right now. It's Poor Richard, Uni the Groundhog, and Snowgoodall Sammy. All 3 of those are taxidermied. They don't even live, and they're beating Punxsutawney Phil. If I'm Punxsutawney Phil, that's got to be the worst thing in the world, to lose to taxidermied groundhogs. It has got to be the absolute worst. That has got to be so humiliating. But 35%, that's it. 3 out of 10 times he's going to be right. 7 out of 10 he's going to be wrong. I personally, when you get to February, hopefully the weather breaks. I always break down my winter into little segments so I can get from one segment to the next. So, Christmas starts out from Thanksgiving, which is not really winter, but it can be chilly. And you go from there to Christmas and New Year's, the holiday season. So that's the first one you have to get through. When you get into January, right? You go from January. I always go from January to the Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl is like the second one. And that's what we're coming up on. The Super Bowl, of course, coming up this Sunday. This third section is a little smaller. Goes from the Super Bowl to when pitchers and catchers report for spring training, which hope springs eternal there, right? You get spring training going on and you're going, hey, we got something going now. It's almost over. And then spring training to March Madness, which is a couple weeks later, and then March Madness to opening day. And once you get there, the winter's over. So it's easier to stomach when you break it down into these little segments. In the other news that we have out there, Savannah Guthrie's mother is missing. I saw this morning, and then I watched the police captain do his press conference on YouTube, and it's a very, very tragic situation. She's 84 years old. Now, they said that she was reported missing. She was last seen at the house on Saturday night, reported missing about noon on Sunday. Now, the first place that my mind went was she was someone that may be getting up older in age and might early forms of Alzheimer or some sort of dementia. But they said, nope, she may have some physical ailments that restrict her mobility. However, she is of complete sound mind and body. So when the press conference was on, and of course, we didn't get a lot of information out of it, but the police chief said, well, we went in, we had a lot of people that looked, they looked overnight. When we are walking around the house and looked at everything, we came to the conclusion that we could send the people home that were looking for her, because it is turned into from a missing persons investigation, and the house is turned into a crime scene. It's a criminal investigation. So he said, we do in fact have a crime. That's all he would say. It's unfortunate of a situation, but she lives in Tucson, and I wonder what would happen in the media. Well, first of all, I hope to God it's not an abduction. But I am curious to see if a crime has been committed against her, if it is committed or was committed by someone who was here illegally, and to see how the media would handle that. Because, of course, anyone who does anything in the immigration area or talks about it in any way, shape, or form, they're immediately canceled or banished or what have you, insensitive. And the media gets on that soapbox. So when one of their own, if something happens, I will be very interested to see how they address that. Savannah Guthrie is not talking. She had a prepared statement, and she thanked everyone for their support and their prayers. And again, our prayers are going out. My mother is 84. She is a very good sound mind and body. Hopefully, I mean, she's not going anywhere soon. And she has very strong locks on her door, even though she lives in a small town. She has very good locks on her door. So that is vitally important. And I'm very happy about that. A government shutdown looms. Now, I haven't seen this. I know the government was supposed to shut down around 1 o'clock today. But another government shutdown looms. And all I can say about that is you want to freaking knock it off with this. You've cried wolf so many times on these government shutdowns that it's lost its effectiveness, right? And what happens with these government shutdowns is most of the time they shut down, and when they open back up, they put these omnibus bills in, which cost you a fortune. They jam all this crap in there, and including they give themselves raises a lot of the time. Not all the time, but they give themselves raises in these bills. I don't know if they do this because no one's going to look at it because they're going to go, oh, thankfully, the government's open again. But it's just stop doing it. Nobody cares. The government's going to be shut down. Oh, well, okay, deal with it. Suck it up. Now, I looked into this. Here's the deal with that is that they don't teach civics in high school and grade school anymore. There is absolutely, no civics classes in 90% of the schools. And I'm just making that up, but it sure the hell seems like people are coming out of high school and have no idea how this stuff is supposed to work. And I looked into it, and both are responsible for, it's that system of checks and balances. The House of Representatives has 400 and some representatives based on population, and the Senate has 2 per area. And it's really the role of the House to pass the bills or to, write the laws, pass the bills, then hand it on to the Senate, who checks it. And the Senate's in charge of appropriations. Well, what does that mean? The Senate has to set the budget. Now, we are, I don't know how many freaking trillion in debt. Probably in the 30s. I mean, you're never getting out of this. I mean, we're just not. It just, you can't squirrel money away and get out of 30-some trillion dollars in debt. But what I did realize, and I did some investigating on this, the Senate's supposed to put forth the budget. The Senate has not taken a budget to the floor since 1997. My son was born in 1994. They have not done a budget since 1997. That's almost 30 years ago. So basically, the Senate is spending money, and the government is spending money like I did when I got my first job out of college. It's like, oh, I'm not going to worry about balancing a checkbook. I'm just going to write checks. Here we go. Go to Kelly's up for some drinks. Here's $20. Get another check. Now, that was a long time ago. That was the 80s. $20. You could drink all night on $20. But it was like, oh, yeah, we'll just write checks and then we'll figure it out later. And that bit me in the ass because the guy who owned Kelly's decided he was horrible at cashing checks, right? I'm probably 25 years old, don't have a lot of money. And all of a sudden he decided to go up into his desk and start cashing checks. 32 of my checks for about $700 hit all at once. It's like, geez, David, what are you doing here? You're killing me. But that's basically what the Senate's doing. They just go, we're not going to go with a budget. Just here we go, and we're just going to spend money. Well, no wonder it's a ship show, right? So government shutdown, I don't care. Oh, and by the way, they still get paid. Of course, they still get paid. And the other thing that people don't realize is when the government reopens, everyone who was furloughed or didn't get to go to work, they don't lose any money. They get back pay. So they're just basically getting a vacation. But, the government's going to shut down. Oh, okay, well, shut it down, really. I mean, you shut down most of it for all I care because you guys aren't doing anything that really helps any of us, right? Did I close? There we go. There we're at. My video locked up again. You got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me because I've got a new video. Is it still locked up? I hope it's not. And the last thing that I saw is, let me know if I'm going or if I'm locked up out there, people, please. I've got everything shut down. And to be perfectly honest with you, I am not in the financial position to buy a new computer, as you could imagine. Okay, it did not for more than a few seconds. Okay. I might have too many windows open on my computer. And so the last thing that I want to talk about is I saw this article, and it's things that grandparents shouldn't say to their grandkids. And it's not so much that you shouldn't say them, but of course it's, these were put out there by a psychotherapist who wrote a book called Mindful Step. And it's a children's book series on raising kids. And these are all freaking horrible, right? This is where all the gentle parenting crap came from psychotherapists who don't have anything to do except for psychoanalyze, right? And they write these books on child rearing. And you end up with these psycho kids who are absolute train wrecks, who have no manners, have no ability on how to deal with negative consequences, don't have any idea how to handle disappointment. So here we go. The one is don't tell your parents. Grandparents should never say that to your kids. Don't tell your parents. Well, why? And usually, it's not like they took the kid out on a jewel heist, right? Or grandpa, went to an Asian massage parlor and left the kid out in the car and then said, hey, don't tell your parent. No, it's like grandma's going to give you a cookie, an extra cookie, or grandpa's going to give you $1 and they go, don't tell your parents. Well, this psychotherapist came out and says, no, you don't want to do that because that undermines parental authority, which can have long-standing consequences. No, it really doesn't. Grandpa gave you $1, right? Grandma gave you an extra cookie. That is not undermining the parent's authority. I mean, there are bigger things you can do to undermine the parent's authority. So don't tell your parents. No, thank you. I'm not buying it. You can say that, Miss Psychotherapist. Number 2. Now, I will agree with this next two. I grew up as I was a chubby kid, man. I was I was in the husky section of Sears all the time. I'm a chubby adult now. I went back, everything goes full circle, but I was a chubby kid. And so this one I kind of agree with. If you haven't seen anyone, your grandchildren for a while, they say, don't say, you're getting so big. Have you put on weight? Okay. Now, I will agree that you take the last half of that off, even if he's a big old chubba. You don't want to say, hey, you put on weight. You don't want to say that to anyone. But kids grow, right? And kids like the fact that they're developing and they're growing and they're getting bigger. And maybe grandma and grandpa live on the other side of the country and they haven't seen you in a long time. And you shock them because last time they saw you, you were this high and now you're that tall. Wow, are you getting big? There's nothing wrong with that. But if you say things like, but they're saying, if you make any comments on their physical appearances, well, that is going to give them a bad body image. Well, hell, you don't call someone fat, for God's sakes. But when a kid is growing, you're getting so big. Now, when they're your grandkids and they're in their 40s, you don't go, ooh, you're getting so big. No. Even in their 20s, you don't do that. Now, that's offensive. But you can tell an 8-year-old when they see you again when they're 10 that they're getting so big. Now, here we go. Here's another one. They say, wow, you ate more than I did. Okay, I'm going to go back to the whole growing boy thing. Yeah, kids sometimes will eat more. It's not like he ate a whole chocolate cake in front of you, or she, right? Wow, you ate more than I did. Well, that is going to bother him because, let's see, what does it say? Oh, yeah, you can, learning about food and hunger cures is important in development. And it's an important development step in childhood. Comments about good and bad eating can influence children, and it can make them lead to eating disorders. Okay, maybe not. If you're paying attention to them, I thought the whole eating disorder thing, a lot of it was between relationships between you and your parents and whether or not they're paying attention to you. And you're doing it to get noticed, not because they're going, don't, maybe they say, don't eat so much. But you can stay away from that, okay? And just say, oh, clean plate club, nice job. Here's another one. You better come over here and give grandma a kiss. Give grandma and grandpa a big hugger a kiss. Of course you're going to do that. You hug and you show love and affection, right? But what they're saying is, no, that's a violation of their boundaries. Maybe, just maybe, if kids got more hugs, they wouldn't be the train wrecks they are. Bring it in. Come on, let's hug it out. Oh, you look so big. My son is 31. And when he leaves, and when he goes back to Boston, or when he went away to school, all of that, it was a big bear hug, right? It wasn't just a pat on the back. It was a bear hug. It was a little bit of a squeeze. You love your kids. You love your grandkids. And they'd say, oh, maybe you just suggest other ways to connect, like waving or giving a fist bump. It's like, all right, come on over here. Give grandpa some, and you fist bump him. But no. Come on, give him a hug, right? It's not like you're going, here, get up on my lap, Tommy. No, just give a kid a hug, right? And it's like, well, that'll teach them later in life to respect body boundaries. No. It's going to teach them later in life that maybe their grandparents didn't care about them that much to give them a hug. So you can back that off. And then the last one is, this one I can kind of see, and I kind of can't. They said, you should never say your parents were wrong about that, because that I can see how that might undermine a parent's authority. And of course, each generation changes. You know, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, you know, saying, that's not the way I raised you. That's not what you should do. That's not the way I raised you. My answer when I heard it stopped it. This is how I stopped it in its tracks. It's, you know, why did you do that? That's not the way I raised you. I just said, well, apparently you did. And that'll stop it right in the tracks. Love the mini guitar. Okay. I got everything here. Oh, yes, 74 Sealy. I got that from you. I know who you are. And thank you very much, man. That is right on my desk all the time. It's actually it's a copy of Springsteen's Esquire. You can see complete with let me get it up there, complete with the chunk taken out of the top, just like it. Yeah, and I know that's Anthony. And Anthony, I appreciate this. This has been with me since you gave it to me down at Sunburn Bowl. You know, just love. If you got grandkids, I'm gonna say this: hug them, slip them a cookie, have fun. Well, you don't slip them a cookie if they're diabetic, but hug them, slip them a cookie, let them know that you love them. If you're a parent, do the same thing. Please. No gentle parents. Okay. I'm done with the gentle parenting, you know, but fist bump grandpa. Go pound sand. That's all I got to say. Pound sand, pound freaking sand all the way up with a red hot poker. That's where I'm coming from on that. Now, here we go. So that brings us to the Grammy Awards. I didn't watch it. In their entirety. Why? Because I am pretty much done with Hollywood award show. They're so out of touch. Yesterday, I did a predictions on here of my Grammy winners and what I expected to see in the Grammy Awards. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, here are my predictions for the Grammys. They're going to be woke as hell. Well, I think we all knew that was going to happen, but I didn't think it would go to the degree it did. It's just they latch onto stuff and they never educate themselves as to what's really going on. And they just then when you drop some facts on them, it drives, you know, then they don't know how to respond. So, you know, last night, Trevor Noah comes out, starts making these backhanded comments. Well, what you don't understand is in a way, they're kind of irresponsible because if they're not backed up with fact, then you're spreading information out there that people are going to take to heart. The other predictions I made were for best album, best song, best performance by a pop group or duo, but none of the stuff that was nominated was my jam. But you get back to the all the F-Ice rants, and it's like, here's where I stand on that. You may think it's important, and that's good. If that's what you feel is important and it moves you, then let it move you and do things. But and then act accordingly. However, here's where I come from on this. I go to music. I put on music to escape all that crap, right? When things are chaotic, there is nothing better than putting on some headphones and just tuning out the world and getting rid of all that stuff. It's so brutal and it is. I mean, reality, whatever it is, reality or what the truth is always going to lie somewhere in the middle. And to bring that to something that I would just want to sit back and enjoy, I have no room for that. So you lost me. And it doesn't have to do with anything political. It has to do with the fact that don't bring it here. You know, when I was doing the radio show, we had, you know, a strict rule of don't touch anything political in nature. Now, from time to time, you might dip your toe into it as a smart ass comment. But our rule was you don't talk about anything like that because people aren't coming to you for that. I'm going there to see the latest in music, to hear what, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit, see what people are wearing. I'm definitely getting to that. But it's, you know, to bring that all to the stage, and when you're accepting awards, it's like, come on, you know, accept your award, say that you're proud of the people around you, and don't use it as a platform for that. Marlon Brando, I think, kind of ruined it back in the early 70s. Well, I shouldn't say ruined it, but he was the first one to do it when he went up to accept an award for, I believe, Best Actor, and he went with an Indigenous American. Is that what you're supposed to say now? To talk about and bring attention to the way that they were treated, which is fair. But again, that's one of those don't bring it into the award show things, in my you know, in my humble opinion. Brings me to the I got absolutely roasted on Reddit, and I knew I would. But Springsteen wrote the Streets of Minneapolis song. And most protest songs are kind of angry, and which is fine. And that's what a protest song is for. That's Woody Guthrie, right? That's there's a long history of people that use music to speak out. But this one kind of felt forced and contrived. And so I went out and I put it on Reddit, and I said, did anyone else feel like this? Got absolutely crushed. But I figured I would. But the bottom line is I go to all that stuff to escape and not to be inundated with it. And that's where you lost me. So this morning I went back and I watched some of these segments on YouTube, just so I could see what happened and just so I could see what won. We'll get to my predictions. My first prediction was, in looking at it and all the things that were nominated, I said Bad Bunny is going to win stuff because that's just what they were going to do. I'm sure that there were people going, it's time for us to give an award to Latin American singers. And it is. He's from Puerto Rico, an American territory. So it's not like you can sit back and say he's not an American. He's totally an American. But I have no idea whether that album is good or not. The only thing, I don't know what the lyrics are. And, you know, the argument that was thrown at me when he was named the halftime performer is, well, he's the biggest star on the planet right now. He's got more streams on Spotify and the streaming platforms than anyone else, which may be true. And you can't argue with that, but that doesn't mean I have to like it, right? That doesn't mean, okay. That doesn't mean I have to like that halftime show. There was halftime shows that I liked in the past, right? But I'm not going to, when they say this is going to be the halftime show and I'm not into it, I'm not going to sit there and go, ooh, I'm into it because he's the biggest star on the planet. I would argue that, you know, Taylor Swift is saying hold my beer, but she wouldn't do the halftime show anyway. She has no reason to do it. But I did say Bad Bunny was going to win, and he sure did. He won for Best Album of the Year, and then got up and said F Ice, F Ice, F Ice. And got everyone chanting that, and it's like, come on, people. Don't bring that there. But I'm kind of surprised at how much people don't know And just one fact, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I'll leave it up to you to go look it up. But everyone they want to just absolutely take Tom Homan apart. He's the most evil man ever. And I don't think you know this. Most people don't know this, but Tom Homan was given one of the highest presidential medals for service to his country by Barack Obama. And that medal was service to his country as the associate director of ICE. So I suppose he got promoted and just turned into Satan. But, there's a time and a place for this stuff, Bad Bunny and Billie Eilish, that, and it's not at these award show, but they don't care whether or not I tune in. I'm old. I don't get it. So then we get to the song of the year, the record of the year, which was Luther by Kendrick Lamar. Again, that's not my style of music. So I am not educated enough or well-versed enough to know whether it was good or it was bad. When I saw, now record of the year is by the performer, gets that. Song of the year is a songwriter. The one thing about song of the year was, with the exception of the Billie Eilish song, and that song Luther that won had 10 writers. 10. One guy couldn't finish it. You had 10 people. 10 people putting it together. I mean, how did you get a writer's credit? Did you say change that word from us to them? What? How do you do it? Because 10 writers, and to split that, it makes absolutely no sense in the world, and it waters everything down. So I couldn't tell you whether or not the Kendrick Lamar song is good or not. When I listened to the songs and what I thought was going to be, I knew it was going to be Bad Bunny or Kendrick Lamar who were going to win. It's just, that's the way that the voters are in the Grammys. Are they the Academy? Or are they just Grammy voters? I'm not exactly sure. So I knew it would be one of those two. It's where it's going to go. However, if you want to listen to a great song, a great, great, great song, listen to The Subway by Chappell Roan. That should have won. That is a fantastic song. It's well written. It's got a melody. It's not explicit. And it's just a good song. Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter is not bad, but I'm not into the overproduced pop stuff. But I think if you strip that song down and took all of that off of it, it's probably at its heart a very good song. Now, I'll give you a perfect example of a song that's like that surprised me on how good of a song it is. That all you know is from, being in, I guess, La Cage or dance clubs, is Believed by Cher. And that is an outstanding piece of music. And I didn't really realize it until I saw a guy by the name of Robbie Fulks do a solo acoustic version of it at Shank Hall. And I was just, wow, you got to be kidding me. This is a great song. And you don't realize it until stuff gets stripped down into its barest form. Every song had to start out on one instrument, right? Probably the piano or the acoustic guitar. And when you get it to that with just the chords and just the melody, you can find out whether or not the song is good. I was not into Taylor Swift at all until I heard Ryan Adams cover the album 1989 from start to finish. Ryan Adams, one of the, I guess you could say, snobbiest but most prolific singer-songwriters, puts out an album every 6 weeks. But, I mean, he's really persnickety. Not all of his stuff is good either. He just puts it out. But when I saw that he covered 1989 from start to finish, I'm like, okay, there's got to be something there. Here's another one you want to go look up, which I think is the worst song of all time. But he did a cover of it, and I went, oh man, can't believe you did this. It's not bad at all. Is We Built This City by Starship, which is one of the worst. I hear that it just nails on the chalkboard, but his arrangement of it, and he stripped it down, it's pretty damn good. So that's when I got into Taylor Swift, right? Because I knew there was something there. And sure enough, there are things, not all of it, but there's a lot of stuff there that's pretty damn good. I think in the ACMs, I don't know if any of you are into country music at all, but I get them mixed up. Little Big Town, not Lady A. I knew it was like a conglomeration of male and females with great harmonies, but it's not Lady A. Little Big Town won Song of the Year a couple of years back for a song Better Man, which is a beautiful song. And I had no idea, but when they announced the Song of the Year, which goes to the songwriter, was Taylor Swift. So the chick has got some chops. If Folklore and Evermore are great albums. The last one's, man, she might have gotten into doing too much stuff. What is it? The Dead Poet Society or the Dead, something like that. And The Life of a Showgirl, which I think she just put because they showed her bent over up against the wall. So I think it was teenage boy heaven there. And she wrote a whole song about Travis Kelce's Crank, which I didn't really need to hear. But I really wanted to see the Subway get this song because that is a killer song. So go check it out. Let's see, what else did I have? A lot of the stuff I wanted was in the Americana genre. Molly Tuttle was up for an album. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she is like the female Billy Strings. She can just absolutely shred. I had a back and forth with her on Instagram. I slid into her DMs because I saw her on CBS Sunday Morning and my jaw dropped. She was so good. And was before she started out, and I just hit the DMs and I said, hey, I see her coming through Milwaukee. Do you want to stop in and do our show? And she got back to me. She goes, let me see what the schedule is. So we were like this close to getting her to come into the studio. But she's really good. Jason Isbell, really, really, really good. He's got a new album out, which is solid from start to finish. But those guys are like songwriters. And even in the, and I know they're talented, but even in the country categories, when you've got winning, I don't know if it was the country song of the year, the country album of the year, what one it was, with Shabuzi and Jelly Roll. I got to go, hey, time out. Shabuzi and Jelly Roll might be exceptional. Well, might be. They are exceptionally talented, but Hank Williams, Hank Jr., and Hank III are rolling over in their graves, and the last two aren't even dead yet, right? Porter Wagner, Charlie Rich, George freaking Strait. Okay, those are country music names, right? Shabuzi, Lil Nas. No, man. Jelly Roll. No, Jelly Roll, I think, was in prison. Use your prison name, right? Use your real prison name. That's country, Jelly Roll. Unless Jelly Roll was his prison name. He lost a lot of weight. He looks good. I don't know if he was on my diet, but I think he's probably, when you lose that much weight, you might want to be rethinking the face tattoos. Song of the year I got right. I said it was going to be Billie Eilish, which was for, I don't remember the name of it. But it was a melodic, it began with a W. It was a very melodic song. Very, very, let's see if Kenneth is still around. Yeah, Kenneth is kind of still there, but we've got an issue with the sun glare. So, but Billie Eilish won the Song of the Year for what the hell was the name of that? Way to go, Kevin. I can't remember. Here, why don't you just spend time just looking at all of Kenneth, and I'll go look up that song. There he is. He's looking up. Now you can see a little bit better. Kenneth is looking out the window. You know, we'll just put the old Kenneth cam up. And as we go see what Billie Eilish won the song for. But again, it's not anything I can, not anything I remember. Let's see, what was the name of it? Here we go. Billie Eilish gets the award for, oh, this is good when you're watching it live. And, Wildflower. Okay, Wildflower. Yeah, but you start the whole, just what's going on. There's a story to tell. A lot of the other stuff, is there really a story there? I'm not exactly sure. And I'm going to go through my top 5 of the last 50 years. And when I was looking at the Grammys lost me in 2014 when they gave Song of the Year or Record of the Year to Get Lucky by Daft Punk. And I went, you got to be dry shaving me. Gonna stay up all night. I'm gonna stay up all night. That is such, sure, it's a good dance song. It's in clubs and everything like that, but it's crap. They are crap songs. So I'm looking at YouTube this morning, and there's a guy that I follow on there. He's a musician, and he dives deep into music, very inside stuff. And he analyzes music, and he breaks down a lot of the music. And so he broke down all of the winners or all of the nominees, right? And then he went back and he compared it to, he goes, well, let's go back 40 years. Thereabouts, 40, he went to 84, so 41 years. And let's go back and see what songs were nominated in 1984 compared to what is nominated today. Well, first of all, there were only 5 that were nominated, basically. There were 5 songs that were nominated, and it was, let me see, what were they? I had them written down. I think I threw out my paper. Oh, is this it? Yeah, this might be it. Is this the paper I had in my? No, it's not that one. It's probably in the, here we go. Maybe it's this piece. Maybe it's this. Is it this? Yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah, let's see. No, that's not the one here. Then it's got to be. Maybe is it this one? No, it's not that one. But here, look at Kenneth again while I go and try and find that song. And there he is. There's Kenneth. We'll look at him full screen, shall we? And I put down the 5 songs. I had them written down. I'm getting a lot worse as the show goes on, but we're almost done here anyway. But I did look up the last songs of the last 40 years, going back all the way to 1985. And when he went back to 1984, he compared these songs that were today, compared them to what was nominated back in No, it's not there. But you heard that. But see, this is why you shouldn't sit through the whole show. Because if you sit through the whole show, you're going to get a lot of this. This won't be there when we get done. Let's see where these are. So he went back and he said, okay, these are the ones. Yeah. So these are the ones from 1984. Beat It by Michael Jackson. Maniac, Michael Cimbello. You can have that. Beat It, Michael Cimbello. And who was Every Breath You Take, All Night Long. And those are songs that will stand the test of time, right? And the way I analyzed can you sing along to them? Would you want to sing along with them? Is there a hook? And will you remember it in 50 years? And I guarantee you that if you go back and look at some of these songs, you're not going to remember them in 50 years at all. There is no chance in hell you're going to remember them in 50 years. So I went back and looked at the record of the year, what was nominated, and I kind of combined these things into record of the year and song of the year. And what I've done is I've taken these so 50 years goes back to 1975. And hey, now you get really back into the 70s. You've got songs like Love Will Keep Us Together by Captain and Tennille winning. But you've also got Hotel California by the Eagles in the 70s. The 80s is when the best stuff was getting awards. But what I did was I went back and I have put together my top 5 all time, right? Top 5 all time worldwide Song of the Year winners from 1975 to today. We should know most of these songs. And, classic rock songs, it's really wild when you put it in perspective. We're talking about a song from 1975 or 1978 in the case of Hotel California, which everybody knows now. But if you went to 1978 and went back 50 years, no one is really talking about the great hits of 1928. Right. So rock music, when it started with Elvis, as you can see, Elvis, when it started with Elvis and carried through, man, there's some staying power to this. So what I did was I went in, I took a look at all these, and these are my top 5 all-time worldwide winners of best song in the last 50 years. Coming in at number 5 is Rosanna by Toto. First of all, the drum beat is just killer. The lead solo in there by Steve Lukather is just killer. Jeff Porcaro, of course, on the drums. It's just killer. And now Rosanna is a staple of every yacht rock band that plays out. That's it. It's almost like it could be like the final number. It's either that or Africa, right? So Rosanna comes in at number 5 for me. Coming in at number 4, and this is where it gets really hard, coming in at number 4 is Adele, Rolling in the Deep. What do I love about this song? It just drives. It's just solid. It's melodic. Her voice is incredible, but that thumping, boom, 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 it just carries you. Once you hear it, It gets in your bones. And as I shared before, I saw Adele in Vegas, and it was an outstanding show. She's incredible. Coming in at number 3 is one I just talked about, Hotel California. I have that on the list. It's, a long song, probably about between or a little over 5 minutes, I believe. But again, at the end, the double lead with Glenn Fry and Joe Walsh, it's so memorable, right? It's the part, it's great lyrics. You can check it anytime you want, but you can never leave. Everyone knows those song lyrics. Everyone sings it along. And it's almost 50 years old. And that makes a great, great song. Coming in at number 2, this album just crushed everybody. I think this might be tied for the most number 1 hits to come off an album with Fleetwood Mac Rumors. Beat It. Beat It won for Song of the Year. And you can't deny, say what you will about Michael Jackson, you can't deny his art. All right? Beat It is an incredible song. Everyone can remember that lick, right? Billie Jean was a hell of a song. Too, another incredible piece of music. So that's my number 2 is Michael Jackson with Beat It. And my number 1 song, and this one might surprise you. But this album was so transformational. We had never heard anything like it before. And that goes to Mr. Paul Simon for Graceland. Not You Could Call Me Al, not Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes, but Graceland, going to Graceland, Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, it's just so good. But then you look at the stuff, that was nominated this year. There's nothing. There's not one single song you will sing along to. Not one in 5 years, not one in 10 years. And so I'm just disappointed with the Grammys. Now, on the other hand, there was a highlight of the evening, and that would be Chappell Roan. Wow. If you want to talk about holy cats, I don't even know what to say. You show up like that. She comes in on the red carpet like that. Thankfully, they covered her up for the TV broadcast, but you don't need to know anything else about Chappell Roan right there. That's just jaw-dropping. I thought the meat dress from Lady Gaga several years ago was something. The meat dress has got nothing on this. But can someone explain to me why Justin Bieber decided to go shirtless and sing his song? That I do want to mention about the Grammys is, and I tweeted this last night, is there anything Post Malone can't do? My God, he's when he did all his pop music and kind of leans toward EDM or rap and killed it with that. Then he goes country and plays the Grand Ole Opry and kills it country. This guy is so freaking talented. And then last night comes out with Duff McKagan, Andrew Watt, Slash, and Chad Smith with a tribute to Ozzy, which was outstanding. And just absolutely crushes Black Sabbath. And it's like my jaw just drops every time I see him. So those are my top 5 KB's top 5 all-time worldwide best Grammy-winning songs of the last 50 years. That would be Rosanna at 5, Rolling in the Deep at 4, Hotel California at 3, Beat It at 2, and Graceland at number 1. So I'm going to take that off. And that's it for today. I do have What Color is the Sky in Your Planet, but I'm going to save it for tomorrow because it's a pretty good one and it's a visual one. I do want to thank everybody for stopping by, and I appreciate the support. If you haven't subscribed, please do so already. You can just click on the buttons on the page. If you know people that used to listen to the show I was on, have them subscribe. I think it gets better every day. Give you an idea who we got coming up on the show this week. On Thursday, Pete Schwaba is going to be joining us. I don't know if you know Pete. Probably you might not. But Pete is another old comic friend, and then he went to LA and was a screenwriter, and he wrote A Guy Thing. And he is also the screenwriter and director of The Godfather of Green Bay, which he so brilliantly cast Lauren Holly in the female lead opposite him in the male lead and wrote in a love scene. So God bless him. But Pete Schwab will be on Thursday, and then we got a couple other surprises coming up. So thanks for stopping by. Tell people to hit the channel. I'm breaking these out into little clips so they're snackable content. And until I speak to you again, make good choices.